All right, so right now we are going to learn about how to form a control flow, yeah, and also a data flow inside an SSIS package. Yeah. Before that, make sure that your SQL Server services is running. Yeah, here in your SQL Server configuration manager, as usual, you have to make sure that it is in the condition of running, and then also please logged in into your database, yeah, into your database account. Yeah, make sure that you can uh, log into your database. Here also make sure that you already have your Toko Barokah and also Toko Barokah DW databases in your server. All right. So right now what we are going to do, we are going to move the data. Yeah, we want to move the data into our Toko Barokah DW database. Yeah. Here in my data warehouse diagram. Yeah, if you don't have this, you can download it in the previous repository in my GitHub account. Okay, so right now in our data warehouse database, we have three tables. Yeah, one fact tables and then two dimension tables. Yeah, the first one is dim barang and then the second one is dim karyawan. Barang means item and karyawan means employee. Okay, so in this meeting, we want to create an SSIS package that will move a data from a CSV file, yeah, CSV file into dim barang table, yeah. And at the same time, we also want to move data from our database Toko Barokah here in the same server in from the table this one from the karyawan tables, ya, karyawan tables, ya, into this dim karyawan, into this dimension karyawan tables, ya. So we are doing two data movements, ya. First one from a CSV file into a dimension barang, into a dim barang table, and then the second one we are moving a data from a table, ya. We are not doing this before, ya, from a table, yeah, but in different database, yeah. This is our OLTP database, yeah. The karyawan table, we want to move the data from the karyawan table into uh, this table, yeah, into this dimension karyawan table, yeah. Okay, and then next, you have to make sure that you have our previous SQL CSV files, yeah, the barang toko barokah .csv. Uh, Okay, here, yeah, this is our previous file. Yeah, just copy and paste into a convenient place for you to easily find it later. Yeah, we want to move the data from this file, so you have to have this file in your computer right now. All right. If all of these are sorted, then uh, you may proceed to open your SSDT. Okay. Where is my SSDT? All right, SSDT here. All right, as usual, yeah. Please create a new project, yeah, file, new project, file, new project, and then make sure you choose here integration services, and then we click here integration service project. So give a name to your project, for example, uh, week 9 data control flow, yeah, for example like this, yeah. Just give your project a name, and then make sure you store it in the proper place, yeah. And then just click OK. Then wait for a moment, and then SSDT will create a new project for you with single default empty package, yeah, here inside the folder SSIS package, yeah. All right. So in this lesson, yeah, we want to move data, yeah, from two different sources into two different destinations. Yeah, the first one, let's create the simple one, the simplest one, the data movement from the CSV file into our dim barang table. Yeah. So you may see here, yeah, as I told you before in the theory session, yeah, we will have two different tab, yeah, control flow tab and also data flow tab. Yeah. What is the difference between two tab? The difference of these two tabs is the functionality itself. Yeah. When we are modifying this control flow tab, the content of this control flow tabs, it means that we are creating the overall process of our package. Yeah. We are drag and drop here from the toolbox into this main designer windows. Yeah, many elements here. Yeah, it is called they are called task. Yeah, task. One task. Yeah, one task. For example, this one data flow task, execute SQL task. Yeah, one task will have one specific functionality. Yeah. For example, execute SQL task here. It is again, yeah, for you if you want to execute some SQL script, yeah, you can use this one, execute SQL task. And then uh, we have also many other types of tasks here. Yeah, so many tasks that we can use in this SSDT 2017. Yeah, each of these tasks it will have a unique, yeah, or special functionality. Yeah, but whenever we are talking about this task in this toolbox, yeah, there are one special task called data flow task. Yeah, I remind you once again. Data flow task is a special task that whenever it is double clicked, it will open data flow tab. Yeah, like I will show you here. Yeah, so I drag one task here, execute SQL task, and then data flow task here. Let me show you what will happen if I double click execute SQL task. Yeah, when I double click this, click, then it will show me, the SSDT will show me the task editor window. Yeah, task editor. This is called task editor window. It is not a tab. This is just a window. Yeah. Every other task, yeah, every other task in this toolbox of the control flow, whenever we double click it, it will open this task editor window. Yeah, task editor window. Okay. For example, another task, maybe this one. Yeah, execute process task. Whenever I click this one, also will show me the execute process task editor window. Okay, blah 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 task editor. Ya, blah 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 task editor. Ya. Okay. Again, another task. For example, send mail task. Yeah, this is a task for us if we want to send any emails to certain email address. Yeah. Whenever I double click this one or right click edit, it is the same. Yeah, right click and then I choose edit here, for example. So it will also open for me another editor, yeah, another editor window, yeah. Because the name is send mail task, then the window itself will be named send mail task editor. Yeah, always like that. All of the tasks in this control flow toolbox, if we edit them, it will open as blah 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 editor. Yeah, task editor window. But different from the other tasks, yeah, this one, data flow task, is a very special task. Whenever we double click this one, instead of opening our editor window, it will open data flow tab. Yeah, data flow tab. Why this one? Why this data flow task is a special task? Yeah, because this data flow task will do the main job for moving the data from one source to other destination. So when we are talking about the ETL packages, we are talking about the ETL process. Yeah, when we are creating an SSIS package, the main thing we want to achieve is we want to move the data from any source to any destination. Yeah, so we want to create ETL because this task is having the heaviest job, the primary job of the all of the tasks here in this toolbox. Yeah, toolbox. So this task is given special facilities, yeah, special ability. Yeah. So this is a special task. This is the difference between control flow and the data flow. So the data flow tab itself is the place where we can edit, yeah, where we can edit the special task here called the data flow task. Yeah. I hope from this up to this point you have the general understanding about this. Okay, so for this time being, we just we forget this other type of task. Yeah, so delete this one and then this one. So in this example, yeah, I want to make a package, yeah, that will import, yeah, data from different sources. Yeah. The first one is from CSV file, and then the second one is from the same database server, yeah, but in the different database. So what I want to do now, yeah, uh, the very first thing I want to make sure is that my table is empty. Yeah, my table is empty, so the data will not be redundant. Yeah. So right now we want to make the table. Yeah, we want to import the data in dim karyawan. Yeah, in dim. Oh sorry, in dim barang. Yeah, barang means item. Yeah, in dim barang. But when I check the content of my dim barang, yeah, yes. Yeah, when I check the contents of my dim barang, oh crap, yeah, I already have here, yeah, 1,000 rows, yeah, existing in this database in these tables, yeah. So when I run the package, yeah, the package will import 1,000 more data into this table, yeah, the same data, yeah, the redundant data. I don't want this. I don't want this. So I want my table before I import the data. My table is clear. Yeah, my table is empty before I put a new data. So how we can do that? Yeah, of course we can do that by deleting here. Delete from. Okay. Yeah, of course we can do it like this. Yeah, we can do it like this. Of course, yeah, we can do it like this. Yeah, but it's not a good way. Yeah, not a good way. Why? Because remember the main objective of an ETL package, of an SSIS package, is to run all, yeah, entire, yeah, ETL process automatically. So it doesn't make any sense if we run delete query manually each time the ETL package is executed. Yeah, so it is not a proper way to do this one. So how we can do this properly? Yeah, instead of writing this query and then executing it manually by ourselves, yeah, we can put this. Yeah, we can put SQL, yeah, SQL script into a task, yeah, into our task in our ETL package, yeah, in our SSIS package. So we move this that query, yeah, into this task, yeah, execute SQL task with task. We have many different kinds of tasks here, but right now the one that most useful for us is this one, execute SQL task. Okay, so this task is used to uh, to execute any SQL command, may it be insert, update, or delete, or select. Yeah, we can put it here, and then we can execute it against a specific database server. Okay, and this, because this one is will work to a certain database, so it of course, yeah, will need connection manager. Yeah, here we still don't have any connection manager, so this why this one give us error mark. Yeah, no connection manager is specified. Yeah, so to use this one, this task, we have to define, yeah, we have to tell the SSIS where is the connection manager, to where is the SQL will be executed, to which database. So let's first create our connection manager. Right click here in the connection manager tab, and then you choose new OliDB connection. Why OliDB? Because we want to connect to SQL server. New OliDB connection, and then I click new, I click new here, and then as usual, I think I have tell you before about how to create connection manager, but it's okay, I will repeat it again. So for this connection manager, we want to execute the delete statements into our Toko Barokah DW database, right? Because the dim barang is located inside the Toko Barokah DW. Okay, so here I input my server name. This is the same text that you use here in your SSMS if you want to connect to your database. For example, like this. Nah, this is again, I repeat again, this is the same with this one. This is the server name, our server name. It can be anything, but if you want to make sure, you just copy paste from your SSMS login window here. I Control C here, and then I Control V here. Whenever this your server is already running and then this server name is correct, you can easily here find your database name. Look at this. Okay, you can find your database name in your server. But whenever you entry it wrongly, for example like this, it will not find any database name. So put your server name correctly here in the server name text box, and then you can use Windows authentication because this computer is the same computer where the SQL server is installed. All right. Then you select the database name, the Toko Barokah DW. You can click here test connection. If it is like this, test connection succeeded, it means that your configuration is correct for this connection manager. Then you click OK. Click OK here. It will shown here in the OliDB connection manager window your newly created connection manager. Click OK, and then you assign this one. This connection manager into this execute SQL task. You can find it here in the connection. In the general section, in the connection panel here, connection. You select this one. If you create it correctly, the connection manager, you can find it directly in this combo box. Right click here, and then where you can put your SQL, you can put it here in the SQL statement column, in this SQL statement section. Here you can click here in this button, and then you enter your SQL script. It can be any SQL script, but right now I just need simple SQL to make sure my dim barang table is empty before I add new data to it. Okay, delete from dim barang. Okay, this will make sure that before I add new data, the dim barang table will be emptied first. Okay, right click OK, and then you notice here we have bypass prepare. Bypass prepare. Make it into false. What does it mean? It means that we want to check the query first before its execution. So we prevent error whenever we are executing our package. After this, we have to make sure that our correctly is entered correctly. By clicking this one, parse query. Whenever this parse query button give you these results, the query parsed correctly, it means that your SQL statements are correct. It's correct. Okay, click OK here, and then you just need to click OK. This one. So it is not error anymore. Okay, and then to make you easier to read your control flow letter, it is a best practice to rename your task. Yeah. So for example, I rename it like this: execute. Okay, like this. Yeah. So I rename my task here to become empty dim barang table. So later on, when I want to edit this package, yeah, I will be easier. Yeah, it will be easier for me to know what is actually this task is doing. Yeah, is this task doing? All right, and then we can test this one. Yeah, we can test this task like this. I will delete it first. Yeah. Let's see if this task is work as we want or not. Okay, click start here, and then yeah, it it is executed successfully. Then we can check in our dim barang table what happened. Yeah, right now the content of the dim barang is empty. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Up to this point, if you feel I explain to you faster, yeah, or you need me to do it a bit slower, yeah, you can just tell me, yeah. Okay, then after we successfully create this task, yeah, this is one of the example of execute SQL task. We put here state an SQL statement to empty, yeah, to delete all of the contents of our dim barang table. Next, after dim barang table already empty, yeah, the content is empty, we can import the new data. We can import the new data. So whenever we want to make a data flow, we want to make a data move from its source to its destination, we have to choose here data flow task. Yeah, data flow task. Drag and drop here, data flow task. And then, yeah, to make sure that uh, this one, yeah, will be executed first, and then followed by this one, this task, yeah, you have to connect its precedence constraint here, like this. Click, yeah, so like this. This will make sure that the data flow task will not be executed before empty dim barang table task here. We have here. If you don't connect this one, if you don't connect both of them using any precedence constraint like this, for example, yeah, whenever you execute the control flow, the empty dim barang table and this data flow task will run all together. Yeah, will run at the same time, parallelly. Yeah. So it is not correct. Yeah, because why? Yeah, why? Because maybe, yeah, this one will finish first and then this one. So at the end of the execution, yeah, you will not have any data. Yeah. Or if you are lucky, then this one will be executed first and then this one. So you will got the correct data, yeah, the new data. But this is not guaranteed. Yeah, this one can be executed first, or this one can be executed first, finished first, or this one later and then this one first. Yeah, to make sure that this one will be executed first and this one is the next, so we have, again, yeah, I remind you to connect it using precedence constraint. So it will guarantee, yeah, it will guarantee you that uh, this one, yeah, data flow task will be executed later, yeah, after this execute SQL task is finished. Okay, then we can rename it, for example, yeah, like this, for example, yeah, import dim barang from CSV. Yeah, after we rename this one, we can double click it, double click, and then we can see here Yeah, we also have toolbox and we still have main designer window. Yeah, but yeah, the main designer window is different also. It will have data flow task here. But the most difference, yeah, the most important difference is that the content of the toolbox, yeah, the toolbox here the content is different, as I have already explained to you before. Yeah, the content of the toolbox of the control flow, it is in the form of task, yeah, always ended by the word task. Yeah, data flow task, execute SQL task, analysis service processing task, bulk insert task, blah 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 task, blah 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 task, so on and so on. Yeah, but in the data flow, yeah, it will not be ended with the word task because it is not a task. Yeah, it is an elements. Yeah, it is called data flow elements. The elements itself, it is divided into three main categories. Yeah, the transform elements, the source elements, and the destinations elements. This one is for E or extracts. Yeah, this one from T or transform, and this one for L or load. So ETL. Yeah, that's why the data flow task is special. Okay, bear in mind that is in the common, yeah, in the common it is not a type. Yeah, this is just Microsoft make the elements that is usually used by people, by developers. Yeah, it is grouped into this common tab. Yeah, but actually in the common, yeah, in the common section here, it is also consists of transform. Yeah, uh, destination and also source. Yeah, for example, like this is source. Yeah, ODBC source, this is source. Yeah, and then ODBC destination, this is destination. Yeah, and this one data conversion, it is transform. So it is not a unique category. Yeah, this is just a place for Microsoft to put the data to the commonly used elements. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so next, there are many elements here, but for the time being, we just need one source. Yeah, one source, that is flat file source. Yeah, can find here in the source. So we have here flat file source. Flat file source. This is our CSV file. Yeah, we will put our CSV file, the path into our CSV file to this one, yeah, to these elements. Yeah, flat file source. Okay, this one is error because we have not defined our connection. Yeah, our connection. Yeah. So again, we have to create a new connection to our file. Yeah. Right click here in the connection manager tab, and then we choose the new flat file connection. All right, just rename it here, connection to CSV file, for example. Yeah. And then you can put description here if you wish, yeah, or you may let it empty. It's up to you. But it is best practice for us to put description to make us easier to edit the task later on. Yeah. So I will put the description here. Uh, for example, like this, yeah. And then we have to find our file, yeah, our CSV file. Yeah, for example, I put it here in this directory, barang toko barokah, yeah, this one, CSV file. Click open, and then make sure you find the column here according to your files, yeah. If you don't see any columns here, then it may be some problems with your file. Yeah, but if you can see data here, so usually it will not be any problem. Okay, and then click preview. Whenever the data is okay, is correct, then we click OK. Okay, so now we have two different connection managers. One connection manager to our database, Toko Barokah DW, and then another connection manager is connection to our CSV file. Yeah. Okay, let's now configure this one. Double click or you may right click edit. Yeah, it's the same. And then we just need to define our connection. Yeah, connection manager. Yeah. And then click column. Yeah, column. Make sure that the output column is correct. Then if it is okay, you just need to click preview here and make sure that we can find the data in our CSV in this data view table. Yeah. Click close and then click again OK, and then this one is not error anymore. Yeah. Right click here, we change its name. Okay, like this ya. I rename it according to my actual file name ya. Because my name is Barang Tuku Barokah, so to make me easier to understand what this element's doing, so I change the name to the same with my actual file. Yeah. Okay, so we are finished creating our source. Then next we have to create our destination. Yeah. For that, we need to use an element from the destination section. Yeah. For example, here I need only DB destination. Why? Because I want to put my data into a data warehouse, yeah, which is located in SQL Server. All right, then we put, yeah, again, if we are creating the data flow, yeah, we have to connect all the elements using this one, yeah, using precedence constraint. Yeah. Whenever this one have error like this, yeah, it means that as usual, this is still don't have any connection manager. So we will assign this Toko Barokah connection manager into this OLEDB destination. Yeah. Double click here, and then you will find error like this. Yeah. This component has no available input columns. Yeah. Do you want to continue editing available properties of the components? Yeah, this is just a reminder for you that you must connect. Yeah, you must connect any of the elements, yeah, in this data flow tab by using this precedence constraint. An element without any precedence constraint, it will not be able to be executed. Yeah. So we connect this one, our source and our destination, and then now we will be able to edit this one without any warning. Yeah. So choose the correct connection manager. For example, here the Toko Barokah DW, and then we choose the correct table. Yeah, we want to import the data from the CSV files into dim barang table. So we choose dim barang table. Then click on the mappings. Yeah, then click on the mappings. We want to move the data in the column nama into nama, harga into harga, satuan into satuan, barcode into barcode. Yeah. And then you have to remember that the original primary key from the data source, it will be the alternate key in our dimension table. Yeah. So we choose here code. Yeah. So we choose here code, and then the code itself will be put into ALT key column. Yeah. Alternate key. Yeah. ALT here means alternate key. Alternate key is the original primary key. Yeah. For the data source when it is still in its original source. Yeah. And then we ignore the ID because the ID here is auto increment. Yeah. Okay, then we make sure that the data type in the input columns and then destination columns all are the same. Yeah. For example, here DTSTR, yeah, DTSTR in the barcode column, it must also be the same with this one in the destination column. It is it must be also DTSTR. Yeah, this one also the same DTSTR. This one is DTSTR. This one's the same also the same. Yeah, the same DTSTR. Yeah, DTSTR. This one alternate key also DTSTR, and then code also DTSTR. Whenever all of the data types in this input column and then its destination column are the same, then we don't need any transform. Yeah, then we don't need any transform. So we can just click this one OK, and then the problem is gone. Yeah. Let's rename our destination into this one. Yeah. Toko Barokah DW dim barang. Yeah, like this. Yeah. So by looking at this diagram, we can easily understand that this package is doing some process to move CSV file, yeah, to move data from a CSV file named file barang toko barokah, and then move it into a table named dim barang in the toko barokah DW. So it is always a good practice. It is not mandatory, yeah. It is not mandatory for you to rename your element or task, but it will help you, yeah, to understand your package easily. Okay, then let's try to execute this package. Let's try. This is just a simple package. Let's try to execute this one. Yeah, right now we are successfully inserting our new data. Before it was empty, then now it contains 1000 rows from the file. Yeah. So this is how we utilize the task, yeah, the SQL, the execute SQL task, yeah, in our control flow. All right. So half of our missions are completed. Yeah. We still need one more. We still have one more objective. Yeah. What is that? We want to import the data, yeah, from this table, yeah, from this table karyawan table into dim karyawan table in our in our data warehouse. Yeah, right now this dim barang table is okay. Yeah, now it is sorted out. Then we still have the job to do for our dim karyawan table. Yeah, we want here to make sure that we are taking the data from our database, ya, from our database OLTP database in the table, in the karyawan table. Let me check the content of the karyawan table. Okay, it contains 12 records, ya, 12 records. And then we want to move this data, we want to copy this data into our dim karyawan table, ya, dim karyawan table right here. Okay, so what we have to do now, yeah, we can just add another, this one, yeah, like this, yeah, like this, yeah. But because there are more than one data flow, more than one of flow of data, yeah. The first one is the data is flowing, yeah, flowing from CSV file to a table, to dim barang table. And then the second one, the another one is the data flow from the table in a different database to our dim karyawan table in our data warehouse. Yeah. So we just need to drag and drop again. One like this, yeah, data flow task here, like this. And then also one execute SQL task. All right, this one. So this is similar to our previous execute SQL task. Yeah, this one empty tim karyawan. Table ya. Okay, let's sort it out this error. This one is just because it doesn't have any connection manager. Yeah. So we just define our connection manager here because the table is located at the same database with our in our Toko Barokah DW. So we can use the same connection manager. We don't need to create new connection manager whenever our table is the same. Yeah. So we can just reuse our existing connection manager here. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we choose here the same connection manager Toko Barokah DW, and then we put our SQL statement. Yeah, delete from dbo.dim karyawan. Okay, delete from dbo dim karyawan. Click OK, and then bypass prepare, we set it into false, and then we check it using parse query. Yeah, the query is parsed correctly. Then click OK. Also click OK again. Yeah, this one is finished right now. So the next one, we have to connect this one to our data flow task. And then we rename our data flow task. Yeah, import dim karyawan. Yeah, like this. Yeah. All right, so it is always a best practice to rename our task or elements, yeah, according to their functionality, to their goal, yeah, to their objective, yeah. So like this, we can easily determine that this one and this one is different, yeah. Although the icon is the same, yeah, the icons are the same, but the functionality is different, yeah. So right now we have to do this one. We will need double click this one, and then it will also open for you data flow tab. Yeah, whenever you want to change, yeah, the data flow from one to another data flow, yeah, you just need to select any data flow you want from here, from this combo box. Yeah, for example, like this is the previously created data flow. Yeah, and then this is our new data flow. Yeah, import tim karyawan. Tim barang, we are finished creating it, then we proceed to our tim karyawan. Yeah, right click here. Yeah, and then we have still empty data flow. All right, in this data flow, because we want to pull the data from database, yeah, database which is resided in the same database server, SQL server. So we still need OLEDB connection. Yeah, we have to create a new one. Why? Because the table we are want to take the data from is in the different database. Although it is in the same server, but it is in the different database, right? So we are creating a new OLEDB connection again. Yeah, we click new here, and then the way is the same like before. Yeah, you type your server name, and then you choose your database. Yeah. Previously I have chosen this one, Toko Barokah DW, but right now I will choose Toko Barokah. Now this is our OLTP database. And then test connection. It is no problem. It is no problem, and then OK, and then click one OK. Right? After our connection manager is ready, we have 3 connection managers now. The first one is the Toko Barokah DW, our data warehouse. And then this one is the connection to our CSV file, and then the last one is our connection to our OLTP database. And then we have to decide our sources, our data sources. Yeah, our data source, I mean, not sources. Because we want to take a data from SQL Server, so we have to select this one, only DB source. Yeah, only DB source. And then we also need a destination, of course. Destination, OnlyDB destination. OnlyDB destination. Okay, yeah. Okay, our source is a table in our Toko Barokah database. So we select our connection manager accordingly. Yeah. Toko Barokah, alright? And then we want to take a data from our table called karyawan. Okay, don't be confused ya. This one is our table karyawan from our Toko Barokah database ya, from our OLTP database. Right click here, okay, and then make sure you can see the column here. Yeah, this is the column from our OLTP database ya. Username, alamat, jenis kelamin, tanggal lahir. This means username, address ya, gender, and also birth date ya. This one already we can see the necessary columns, yeah, the columns that we want to import. So I think it will not be a problem. Yeah. Okay, click preview, and then we can see here the data from our OLTP database. This is the one that we want to move it into our data warehouse. Yeah. So it will be okay for now. Okay, yeah, like this. Yeah. And don't forget to prevent any confusion later, don't forget to rename your elements ya accordingly. And this one I think Toko Barokah karyawan. Yeah, this is the source. Our source is a table named karyawan in a database named Toko Barokah. And then next is our destination. Yeah, our destination is a table. Yeah, okay. For as usual, it is because we don't have any precedence constraint. Yeah, like this. And then we double click here. And right now we are choosing the other connection manager, which is the Toko Barokah DW. Okay. And then because we want to import our data into a into a table named dim karyawan, so we choose here dim karyawan table. Yeah. Okay, and then yeah, like this. Yeah. Look at the mapping. Yeah. We want to put our original primary key into this alternate key. Yeah. So because the primary key is the username, yeah, look at here. Yeah, in our database, yeah, in our Toko Barokah diagram, the primary key is the username. Yeah, the username will be alternate key in our dim karyawan here, alternate key, and the ID is of course auto increment. So this one, we make sure that username will move into destination column name alternate key, and then the other goes to the same name. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It click OK, and then as you can see here, we still got some error. Yeah. The error is the column username and alternate key cannot convert between Unicode and non-Unicode string data types. Yeah. This means that the data types in our source and our destination is different, not the same. So like I said to you before, we have to have one elements again, yeah, to transform, to convert the data, yeah, from the non-Unicode to Unicode. Yeah. Why this one is happening? Because here, when you see at the database, our database, in our Toko Barokah, the table karyawan, yeah, the column itself, it have in for username and the alamat, it have nvarchar, yeah, it have nvarchar. Nvarchar, yeah, means Unicode string, yeah, Unicode string, nvarchar. Beginning with N means Unicode, yeah. But unfortunately, in our Toko Barokah DW, we got here in the dim karyawan table, yeah, its column have different data types. Yeah. For example, this one for the alamat, it is use varchar, yeah, and the alternate key also uses varchar. Yeah. The difference is in these two columns, yeah, the alamat and the username. From our data source, in our data source, we have a Unicode string, yeah. But in our destination, we have ordinary string, yeah. So we need to convert this data before we put it into our destination, yeah, like this, yeah. So for a moment, we delete our precedence constraint, and then yeah, to to make to make you more clearly understand about this one, yeah, we can see in this, yeah, this one, yeah. So this is the column from our data source, and then this is the column in our destination, yeah. So this one in the username, you notice here the data type is Unicode string or DT underscore WSTR, yeah, this one, yeah, DT underscore WSTR. You notice there in the data type, yeah, it is different in this one in the LT key column, yeah. The data type is called string only, not Unicode string or DT underscore STR. Yeah, this is the different we have to resolve. Yeah, so right now we just delete our precedence constraint and then change it with transform elements. Yeah, named data conversion. This is a transform element. Yeah, right click here and then sorry, drag and drop from toolbox to our designer window, and then we put our precedence constraint from our data source to this data conversion first, and then we modify this data conversion. Yeah, double click this one, and then this is how we use the data source element, yeah, data conversion element. Okay, first one, you have to clarify, you have to define which columns you need to convert. Yeah, so from the previous information from the error, yeah, we know that the columns that have problems are the username columns and also the alamat columns. Yeah, alamat means address. Yeah, these two columns, they have DTWSTR. Yeah, originally they will have DT underscore WSTR. Yeah. The problem is our destination only have ordinary string or DTSTR. So we have to convert it accordingly. Yeah. We want to make it is not DTWSTR anymore, but we want to make it DTSTR. Yeah. So we change it here, DTSTR. Yeah. And then also in the element also we want to make it to change to the same data types that is DTSTR. Yeah, like this. Yeah. And then bear in mind that this column will still exist. Yeah, it is not replaced. Yeah, the original column with the DTWSTR data type is still exists. Yeah, it still exists. It is not deleted. Yeah, it is not deleted. Yeah, so don't worry. The original column is still there. It is not deleted. What will happen if we are using data conversion tools? So the column here, the number will still be the same, yeah, but it will be added with the new column, the new converted column, yeah. So the column, the input column will be originally it is consists of 4 columns, yeah, username, alamat, jenis kelamin, and tanggal lahir. But after we are doing our data conversion, it will become 6, yeah, 6. The originally it is 4, and then after conversion it will become 6. Why it is 6? Yeah, it is because we convert these two. We add 2 new columns. Yeah, that is the conversion of these 2 columns. Yeah, this one, username and alamat. So the result of this conversion will be username, copy of username, alamat, copy of alamat, and then jenis kelamin and also tanggal lahir. It becomes 6 column. Yeah. So to prevent confusion, we can change this one output alias into like this. Yeah. Username, for example, like this. Username converted. Yeah, like this. Okay. And then also alamat, for example, we leave the original name of the column and then we can add like this, converted. Yeah. So this will prevent us for being confused after this. Yeah. In the next step. Okay, I hope this step is clear for you. So this is just adding new 2 columns, yeah, that are the results of conversion from username column and alamat column. Yeah, so we will have two new columns. Yeah, username converted and alamat converted. Okay, click OK, and then yeah, instead of putting the precedence constraint from Toko Barokah, we put the precedence constraint from data conversion. Yeah, like this. Okay. Yeah. And now we still have error, I think. Yeah, because we still not change the column that are mapped into our destination columns. Yeah. So we edit again this one. We click in the mappings. Nah, instead of using username for ALT key column, for alternate key column, we change it into our username that is already converted like this. Yeah, username converted. All right. Nah, like this. Yeah, username converted. And then also for alamat, I think, yeah, this alamat is DTWSTR, yeah, but our destination wants DTSTR, the ordinary string. So we also change this one, alamat, to become alamat converted. Yeah. Okay, there is no jenis kelamin converted, there is no tanggal lahir converted. Why? Because we are not converting these two columns. Yeah, I hope you understand about this. Okay, right? And then click OK, and then you will not find error anymore. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So save your package and then back again to our control flow. And what will happen if we are running this one? Yeah, running this all of this. Yeah, so it will happen. This one will be run in a group. Yeah, and then this one also will be run in a group, and both of group will be run parallelly. Yeah. So to make it easier to read, yeah, we can use container. We can use container. Yeah, container is a element of our control flow that is used to group, yeah, to group our task, yeah, to group our tasks, yeah, into a suitable group, yeah, into a particular group. Yeah, we have three kinds of container, yeah, actually two, yeah, sequence container and then loop container. But loop container, it is also categorized into two again, yeah, for loop container and then for each loop container. At this moment, we just need to use sequence container. Yeah. So drag here sequence container, and then drag one more sequence container, and then you can block this one, and then drag and drop inside the container like this. Yeah. Okay, like this. Yeah. So you can group it into a container to make it easily for you to understand the flow later on when you edited this package. Yeah. So we can rename also the container. For example, like this, dim barang process, yeah, and then we can group it also add to this one, the second container, yeah, and then we can rename it dim karyawan process. Yeah. Okay, so right now we are having 4 tasks grouped into 2 containers. Yeah, the first one is dim barang proses container, and then the second one is dim karyawan proses container. Yeah, if we let it run like this, yeah, so you can notice here, if we execute this package, it will run uh, between this and this one. Will run sequentially, but this one and this one, it will execute it parallelly. Yeah, pay attention here. When I click start, yeah, look at this. Yeah, so the process will be executed much faster because it is run parallelly. Yeah. How about the data? Yeah, let's check here in our uh, dim karyawan. Okay, let me check my dim karyawan. Yeah, okay, yeah. My dim karyawan table right now is filled with 12 new records. Yeah, from the data, yeah, we are taking in the from the Toko Barokah, yeah, from our OLTP database. Yeah, like that. So right now we have successfully created our complex ETL package by using data flow, yeah, more than one data flow, and then we are also using container. Yeah. One more, yeah, for you to understand, whenever uh, we are combining, we are connecting these two containers with precedence constraint, what will happen? What is the difference from before? Yeah. So when it is like this, the all of this execution will become sequential. So it will run first, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. Why? Because this one is precedence constraint. All right. When we are running this one, pay attention to the loading indicator. Yeah. Look at this. Yeah. This one is appear first, and then this one. Yeah. Because this is run sequentially. When we are deleting this one, when we are deleting this precedence constraint, then the loading indicator here and then here will appear instantly at the same time. But whenever we are connecting this with precedence constraint, it will run sequentially. So this one first and then this one. Now, even though it is very fast, but you can still notice that this one will appear first and then this one is the second. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much for your attention.